This is Jay from J&D's Retirement Journey. Wanted to wish everyone a very happy and healthy new year. This has been the biggest dividend month ever for us. It took many years and a lot of patience to get to this point. We have invested $396,362. We started with nothing, guys. Anyone could do it. You just have to be consistent. Invest in your company's 401k. Put money into your IRA. Put money into a brokerage account. Make it automatic. Every paycheck, just have it come right out. When you get a raise every year, increase it by whatever percentage you got. You're not gonna miss it. So anyone could do this. Let's take a quick look at what gave us all these dividends this month. If you like this type of content, remember to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and that bell notification. We're gonna start off with Pfizer, symbol PFE, dividend of almost $91, yield of 5.84, and the money invested, the value is $64.64. Global X covered call, QYLD, $80, a yield of 11.95, a little bit over $8,500 invested. ConAgra, symbol CAG, $78 dividend, yield of 4.92, $64.53 invested. Realty Income, symbol O, $128 on a dividend, 5.25 yield, $29,502 invested. Enbridge Incorporated, symbol ENB, $263 dividend, 7.68 yield, $14,432 invested. Schwab U.S. Dividend Equity ETF, SCHD 405 is the dividend, a yield of 3.62, a little bit over 42,000 invested. Gabelli Utility Trust, GUT, $131 dividend, 11.28 is the yield, and almost 14,000 invested. JP Morgan Nasdaq Equity Premium ETF, JEPQ, a dividend of almost $97, 10.77 is the yield, and a little bit over 14,000 invested. Bank of America Corp, BAC symbol, $761 dividend, 2.83 is the yield, 107,000 and change invested. Kraft Heinz Company, KHC, almost $44 dividend, 4.35%, a little bit over 4,000 invested. Coca-Cola, symbol KO, $95 dividend, a little bit over 3%. The yield, 12,453 invested. Viatris, symbol VTRS, a dividend of $13, a yield of 4.42, and a little bit over 1,200 invested. The Fidelity Zero Large Cap Index Fund, symbol FNILX, a dividend of $288, a yield of 1.26, and a value of a little bit over 22,000. The Fidelity Small Cap Discovery Fund, symbol FSCRX, a dividend of $7. The yield is under a percent, and we have a little bit over 7,000 invested. The Spider Portfolio ETF, symbol SPTM, dollar dividend, 1.48, and we have $350 invested. The Growth Fund of America, symbol AGTHX, a dividend of $333. Again, it's under 1% the yield. We have a little bit over $61,000 invested in that fund. The Vanguard Developed Markets ETF, symbol VEA, a dividend of $23. The yield is a little bit over 3%. We have a little bit over $2,100 invested. The Schwab S&P 500 Index Fund, SWPPX, a dividend of almost $475, a yield of 1.38, and a little bit over $34,000 invested. The Vanguard Short-Term Treasury, VGSH, almost $6 in dividends, 5.51 yield, $1,750 invested. The Spider Bloomberg floating ETF, floating rate, FLRN, almost $9, dividend 5.29, $1,835 invested. The iShares floating rate ETF, TFLO, $16, dividend 4.63, $1,767 invested. Vanguard Total Bond Market Fund, BND, $7 dividend, a little bit over 3%, $3,100 invested. The iShares U.S. Aggregate Bond Fund, AGG, 5%, a little bit over 3%, $103 invested. The average yield for this month was 4.64. Total dividends, that's the most we ever earned in a month, $3,356. Total invested for this month that produced these dividends was $396,362. And this year, total dividends for the year were $14,834. The goal is to get to about $22,000 in the next 3 years. We're going to take a quick look to see how all these stocks performed and what the analysts are saying about these stocks. So we're going to start off with Pfizer. Had a pretty rough year. They closed at almost $29. This is at the end, the last trading day of 2023, 12/29. The 5-year chart looks just as bad. They're down about 30%. The dividends, they pay 42 cents a quarter. The annual dividend rate is $1.68, and the yield is almost at 6%. The analysts are saying Morningstar has a 5-star rating on the stock. Refinitiv has a 12-month target of 33 and an outperform. S&P Global has a hold rating. They pretty much think it's good where it is. Argus has a buy rating and a target of 39. As we shoot over to Global X, symbol QYLD, the 52-week range was about 16 to 18. They're down about 19% over 5 years, which is horrible. The yield about 17 cents. And the frequency is monthly. And the yield is 12.95 for the year. We go over to Morningstar. The ratings aren't too good here. 3 and 2-star fund. The return is below average, and the risk is average, which is not good. As we shoot over to ConAgra, symbol CAG, it's almost at $29. The range is 25 to 41, and the 5-year chart is up 31%, which is good. We look at the dividends, 35 cents a quarter. The annual dividend is $1.40, and the yield is almost at 5%. The analysts are saying Morningstar has a 4-star rating on the stock. Refinitiv has a hold and a $30 price target. S&P Global, same deal, hold. And Argus does not follow this stock. As we go into Realty Income Corp, one of my favorites, symbol O, the monthly dividend company. It's come on some hard times because of the interest rates, but it's been coming back the last month and a half here. We're at $57 and change. The 52-week range was 45 to 69. 5-year chart, not too good, I guess, down 8%. As we look at the dividends, 26 cents. They pay monthly, and the annual dividend rate is about 5.36, the yield. And they pay $3.08. The analysts have a 5-star for Morningstar. Refinitiv sees this about at 61 in 12 months. S&P Global has a hold on the stock, and Argus does not follow this company. Enbridge Incorporated, symbol ENB, closed at about $36. The 52-week range was 31 to about 42. The 5-year chart is up 10%. As we go into the dividends, they pay 69 cents a quarter. The annual dividend rate is 2.76, and they're about at an 8% yield. The analysts are saying Morningstar has a 3-star rating on it. Refinitiv has a $40 price target. S&P Global has a buy on it and a target of 41. Argus also has a buy and a target of 48. As we go over to Schwab US Dividend Equity EFT, the famous SCHD, closed at $76. It went from 66 to about 78 for the year. The 5-year chart, about 61%. The dividend, it paid 74 cents the last quarter of the year. They pay quarterly, and the yield is about 3.62. It's a 5-star rated Morningstar fund. Overall rating, which is great. Historic return is high, and the risk is low, which that is what you want to see. The Gabelli Utility Fund, GUT, it's $5.40. It hasn't been doing too well. It's down 14% over the 5 years. Pays 5 cents monthly, and the rate is 11%. And the analysts, basically, Morningstar, is saying it's a 3-star fund, average return, average risk. JP Morgan, NASDAQ, JEPQ. It's only been around for a little bit over a year. It closed at close to 50. The range is 40 to 50 for the year, and it's up 23%. The dividend last month, it pays monthly, which is great. It paid 42 cents. It's about a 11% yield. As we go over to Bank of America, symbol BAC, hasn't had really a good year. It started to come back because of the interest rates. It closed at close to 34 for the year. The range has been about 25 to 37. 5 years, it's up by 32%. As we look at the dividend, they've been increasing the dividend every year, a few pennies, which is great. The previous dividend it paid was 24 cents at basically a few days ago. The annual rate is 96, and the yield is 2.85. Morningstar has this rated a 3-star. Refinitiv has an outperform and a $35 price target. S&P Global has a hold. Argus has a buy and a price target of 45. As we go over to Kraft Heinz, symbol KHC, $37. The range was about 31 to 43. 5-year chart is down 17%. The dividend is 40 cents a quarter, $1.60 for the year, and a little bit over 4% for the yield. The analysts are saying Refinitiv has a $38 price target. It's a 5-star rated stock by Morningstar. It's a strong buy by S&P Global. They have it at $40, and Argus has a hold rating on it. As we go over to Coca-Cola, symbol KO, it closed at close to $59 for the year. At the end of the year, the range was 51 to 65, and the 5-year chart has an increase of about 24%. As we look at the dividend, it pays 46 cents a quarter. The annual dividend is $1.84, and it's a little bit over 3% yield. Morningstar has a 3-star rated. Refinitiv has an outperform, and it's almost a $65 price target. S&P Global has a strong buy on it and a price target of 68. Argus also has a buy and a $67 price target. As we go over to Viatris, symbol VTRS, it closed at almost $11. The 52-week range was about 9 to 12 and change. 5-year chart, it's down big, 63%. The dividend was 12 cents. Pays quarterly. Annual dividend 0.48, and the yield is 4.43. Morningstar has this stock rated a 3-star. Refinitiv has a price target of almost 22. S&P Global has a hold on this stock, and so does Argus. We go over to the Fidelity Zero Large Cap Index Fund, FNILX, closed at almost 17. It's a 4-star rated fund. The life return for this is 11.76, not bad, and it doesn't have a fee according to this. As we go over to Morningstar, it's a 4-star rated fund. The return is high and the risk is average. As we shoot over to the Fidelity Small Cap Discovery Fund, FSCRX, closed at almost 27. Year-to-date return is 22%, and it has a yield of 1.16%. The 5-year chart, the 10-year chart, it almost tripled, which is great. As we look at the ratings, it's a 4- and 5-star rated fund. The return is high, and the risk is also high. The Spider portfolio, symbol SPTM, closed at 58.45, a range of 58. It's 58 to 58, doesn't really move too much. 5-year chart is up 87%, which is great. The yield is 1.48, and it pays quarterly. It's a 4-star rated Morningstar fund. The return is high and the risk is low. American Funds Growth Fund, symbol AGTHX, closed at about $63. Year-to-date return, which is great, was 38%, and the yield is 0.25. 10-year investment, probably close to tripled your money, which is great. Little less than the S&P, which it held up, which is pretty good. It's a 3-star rated fund, average return, average risk. Vanguard Developed Markets ETF VEA closed at about $48. The 52-week range was 41 to 48. The 5-year chart is up about 26%. As we go into the dividends, it has a yield of 3%. It pays quarterly. Morningstar rates this a 4- and 3-star fund, above average returns and above average risk. So we go into the iShares floating rate, TFLO. It's about as held pretty steady. It stays in the 50s. It's up It's basically flat. It's pretty safe investment, conservative. The yield is almost 5%, and it pays monthly. It's a 3 and 4 star rated Morningstar fund. The return is average and the risk is very low. Vanguard Bond Fund, BND. We got a 52-week range of about 68 to 75. 5-year chart, it's down 7%. The yield is 3% and it pays monthly. Morningstar rates it a 3-star fund, average return, average risk. The iShares bond fund, 99. 5-year chart down 7%. The 52-week range was about 92 to 101, and it pays about 3%, and it pays monthly. We go over to Morningstar. It has it rated a 3-star fund, average return, average risk. All this information, guys, is right off the Charles Schwab website. I also got some info from Fidelity's website. Any broker, you should be able to get this type of information from. Do your research before you buy any type of investment. I am not a financial planner. Talk with your financial planner. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And again, Happy New Year. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thanks again.